October 28th, 2021. Halfcast 171, episode 171. Let's go. How are you guys doing? Of course, I have a few stories to share with you guys. An evening of reflection. I feel great. Let's have at it. Texas mom and skeletal boy case never seemed like a stable person. Relative says, and we all get this. We all have this one person in our circumference where we just be like, they ain't had no business going and having no kids. And it's not it's not funny just off the sheer fact of what happened. Now, man, but we all have them people in our circumference, whether they're our family members, if they're friends, or if they're just people just on the fringe, just outside of your line of sight, that you just see these things that you kind of like, you low-key pay attention. And yeah, like, and this is always, they say hindsight is 2020. Hindsight is 2020. So if everybody saw that there was something definitely wrong with the kids in this lady's life, and she had like she had cases for child protective services. They were supposedly in and out of the picture at different points along the yeah, this is what all this all, I think this all falls under that umbrella of dissolution of responsibility, because we all knew that this lady was bound to, like, you don't expect people to fuck up by the kids, but like, people are just they're more prone to it. Like, it's a bigger chance of it happening. Fam, that's just my opinion. Family members and authorities spoke out Wednesday following the recent arrest near Houston of two suspects accused of mistreating young boys, including one whose remains authorities said were left rotting in an apartment after he died. And that is especially disturbing to me, that nobody thought to say anything, because you can hide a lot of things, but a dead body is like something that really, like, it tells on itself. To me, she just never seemed like a stable person. She was nice overall, but she just never had it together. Melody Robinson, grandmother of one of suspect Gloria Williams' children, told Fox 26 of Houston on Wednesday. A bond for Williams, 35, was set at $900,000 on charges of serious bodily injury to a child by omission, $350,000, injury to a child by omission, and tampering with evidence. Bond for Williams' boyfriend, Brian Coulter, who in another article read that he was a piece of shit, 31, was set at $1 million after he was charged with murder in the death of the boy whose remains were found Sunday. The station reported both William and Coulter were arrested Tuesday after having been free to go following an early round of police questioning. This is what really, and it really baffles me, how these are the two hot suspects in what's going on in a heinous case of murder against children. Like, yeah, and abandoned siblings. This is the same thing with Brian Laundrie. This is a hot suspect. Why do you question them and let them go? If these people really had their wits about them, it could have turned into another situation where they had to actually look for these people in suspect of the murder of this child. Both Williams and Coulter were arrested Tuesday after having been free to go following an earlier round of police questioning. Yeah, you gave them a chance to, like, take a temperature of the situation, and it was completely up to them. If they wanted, they could have hauled ass on you. We could have been looking at another Brian Laundrie situation where we don't find the people responsible for a whole month after the fact, even though day one we knew they were responsible. I'm floating away here. The dead boy, whose authorities said was 8 years old, suffered multiple blunt force injuries in his head, and his death was declared a homicide. The three surviving boys found at home in Western Harris County outside Houston were ages 7, 10, and 15 and had been allegedly abandoned by Williams and Coulter for an extended period of time. Only Coulter was facing a murder charge, but Robinson claimed Williams was deserving of legal consequences as well. Yes, you're the mom, and you're the mom. You're like the fucking like the first line of defense before doctors, before anything. You are the first line of defense in these children's lives at such a vulnerable age. Like, yeah, whatever these charges are, they need to stick because it's not just the guy's fault. She failed him as a mother. She should have protected those children. Exactly. Robinson said she has had custody of Williams' 13-year-old daughter since the girl was age 2 and recently received conservatorship of Williams' 17-year-old daughter. On Wednesday, Gonzalez said investigators were deeply disturbed by the conditions of the boys when they were called to the scene Sunday after the 15-year-old boy reached out for help. And yeah, wow. Jesus, man. Like, yeah, it's a story of one of those cases where the help just came too late. 4 cops, assistant DA, among those charged in $13 million in illegal sales of medical marijuana, and I'm in the wrong line of work. I should have went to police academy so I could learn how to be a drug dealer. I did it ass backwards. four, four cops and assistant district attorney were among those charged regarding illegal selling of $13 million in marijuana grown for Maine's medical program, the Associated Press reported. 2 sheriff's deputies named in the 14-count criminal complaint are accused of accepting new cars and an ownership stake in the operation. Hey, it just looked the other way. That's all you got to do. While 2 other members of law enforcement helped by providing intelligence and tip-offs, according to federal you don't get your hands dirty. You just make a phone call here. You look the other way. You won't say that. Hey, you're gonna make a good amount. Like, yeah, you're gonna make a couple bucks. One of the defendants pleaded guilty Wednesday, and unsealed federal documents detailed the intricate operation. Those charged allegedly sold marijuana grown for registered caregivers outside the state structure and then laundered the profits in corporate structure. AP reported, hey, we need you to drop this pound off to grandma for cataracts. Grandma needs, it's for cataract. Just drop it off. Don't ask any questions. Make sure you hit the lights when you leave. So we know you made the drop. Hit the sirens. Augusta Police Chief Jared Mills, president of the Maine Chiefs Police Association, described the operation's alleged connection to officers as very upsetting. The Maine Chiefs of Police Association has always stood for equal application of laws to everyone in the state of Maine and are confident in the next phase of the judicial system to adjudicate this case accordingly. And I swear the Maine Chiefs of Police Association sounds like one of those organizations I used to telemarket for. A dozen, fun fact, a dozen people were charged, including Rangeley Select Board member, the assistant district attorney. This goes way. Everybody had their hands in the pot. That's one thing when this marijuana legalization hit the when it really hit the board. The politicians that really voted for them, a few of them knew that there would be a lot of money on and off the books going around this. Yeah, it's just like alcohol, just like the lottery. Yeah, a dozen people were charged. 2 Franklin County Sheriff's deputies, an Oxford County Sheriff's deputy, and a Wilton police officer. The Franklin County deputies accepted ownership interests and cars in exchange for confidential information. According to the complaint, the prosecutor allegedly tipped off a corrupt police officer about the investigation, and 2 other officers allegedly warned the Franklin County deputies they were under surveillance. The complaint said, oh, they all looking at, yeah. Randall Cousino, 69 of Farmington, pleaded guilty Wednesday to conspiracy to illegally cultivate and sell more than a ton of marijuana and more than 1,000 marijuana plants according to the documents. This is a lot, man. Yeah, this is a little bit to some people, but to me, when you say 1,000 plants and a ton, like, yeah, Cosino had a 50% stake in the business. The leader of the operation was allegedly Lucas Suraw, 41 of Farmington. Prosecutor said, wow. Stunned Pennsylvania woman finds chicken head in her bucket of wings. I know when you ask for a breast, a thigh, and a leg, and you get a head, know what I mean? Like, I would be, oh no. I would, yeah, yeah. That is definitely grounds for when you hear about people coming to restaurants and tossing shit up and raising hell. Yeah, this is one of those cases. A Pennsylvania woman sat down to enjoy a takeout order of wings and was shocked to discover a bird's deep fried head among the battered treats. I'm sorry. The Among the battered treats and was shocked to discover a bird's deep fried head. And you would think it would be more common. You would think it would be more common that it's not so shocking. But yes, I can only speak for myself when I say this would shock the hell out of me. Yeah, you don't even, yeah, wow. Brittany Paul Hamas of South Williamsport received about 11 shares on her Facebook post Friday, which featured the head sitting on top of the pile of wings. Followed a trip to old school pizza with a friend. The first thing you do, you share it to social media. It shared a gory pic of the head. Okay, it's a chicken's head. Stop it. With its beak still visible, that would have creeped me out. Especially if you're not looking and you just would have bit it. Ordered wings from old school pizza with Hannah Wingrove and received a chicken head. Was told to call back on Monday and speak. What? Hold on. When did this happen? Sat down. When did this fucking happen? And you told me to call management back on Monday, and I got a chicken head sitting in my bucket of wings today. Oh no, I'm coming down there right now. After her photos were shared, she edited the post to add PSA. I did not expect this to blow up the way it did. Well, however, to me, it is personally not appetizing to see the chicken head and the wings I ordered. At the end of the day, I'm sharing my personal experience, and we're all entitled to our own opinions. Yeah, I would not. First off, I'm not that greedy that I'll just sit there and just eat without looking at my food first. I don't care how many times I've got it from the place that I've got it from. Nah, man. So yeah, in an interview with PA homepage, Paul Hammers described what had happened after she left the restaurant with her order. I opened a container, I took a bite of one, and I'm like, so I'm eating this one wing, and I pick up the second one, and it was shaped weird. So I'm like, Hannah, what is this? Paul Hammers told the network. Paul Hammers was then shocked to discover the chicken head in the middle of the container. I turn, I see the beak, I throw it, I yell my fiance's name. Like, what the fuck was they supposed to do? You done got it already. He didn't even want wings. He wanted steak. See, next time, listen to your man. And I was like, get down here, please. She added. She also added she was surprised to discover that her post on the incident went viral. Well, who cares about that? What did she get? Commenters enjoyed. So you mean to tell me whoever put those wings in the carryout container didn't notice the chicken head? Probably not. If they just dump it. Yeah, people, yo, a sidebar is you would be surprised. Pay attention to how much people don't pay attention and just the little things throughout your day. And you will be either shocked, you'll be surprised, or you'll like realize how the things happen in businesses, how inventory, how people run multi-million dollar retail theft rings just off of like stealing one or two products here and there out of store, just from people not paying attention. Just pay attention to how much people don't pay attention, and you'll be shocked how people are just oblivious for the better part of the day. Others pointed out that the chicken head was at least part of the animal she was eating. Hey man, now if it would have been some gizzards in that bucket, I wouldn't have been mad. It's a head though. That's not edible. Like, yeah, it's not appetizing to see. Don't judge me. Don't at me about the gizzards. Why are you eating it? Them don't feel about it. Right. So you'll eat the rest of his body. but you'll draw the line when it's his head. You know, when it resembles a real creature or another addict. No, I don't want a chicken head. No, I don't want that shit. Yeah. We have cooked approximately 361,000 pounds of wings over the course of 12 years, and this is the very first time an incident like this happened. You can add something else to the stat line: 361,000 pounds of wings and 0.13 ounces of chicken beaks. Next up, because there will be no audio to this available tonight after I finish recording this podcast. I will have the audio will be available tomorrow on Spotify, wherever you listen to, because I know some people don't watch the YouTube. They like to listen to the podcast on audio. And yeah, so audio will be up on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google, all over. They'll be available on all platforms that you enjoy your podcast on tomorrow, as early as I possibly can get it up. Next up, birthday cake glitter left 6 kids with heavy metal poisoning. First off, I don't want glitter on my food. Know what I mean? I don't like glitter, period. I didn't like it as a kid because it gets all over you and you never get rid of it, no matter how much you wash or whatever. It gets in those hard to reach places. I don't like glitter. All right. And how much cake did these kids eat that they got heavy metal poisoning from it? So like you have to be eating to get heavy metal poisoning to the fact that your body just can't pass it with like 1 or 2 sittings. Like, yeah, how much did you actually eat? This is what I'm looking to get from this article. And the cupcake looks beautiful. It does, but I'm not. Wow, at least 7 cases of heavy metal poisoning have been linked to birthday cakes in recent years. The CDC just released a report. Oh, this is over years. The CDC just released a report about 6 kids who got upset stomachs after eating a cake dusted with copper-rich powder. How are you not? How is your? Because if you make cupcakes of this nature, this is an art form. This is a career. This is like, yeah. So how are you not choosing confectioners glitter? Or how do I even know confectioners glitter and the person who cooks this shit don't? Separately, a 1-year-old child was exposed. A 1-year-old child was exposed to high levels of lead in their own. So what are they just like peeling paint chips off the buildings built before 1970 and crushing them up and using them on the cake in the cake mix? What the hell is wrong with these people? Separately, a 1-year-old child was exposed to high levels of lead in their own birthday cake. A Rhode Island birthday party ended in vomiting and diarrhea, which I thought that's how most birthday parties ended now. And for 6 young children who ate a cake sprinkled with inedible rose gold luster dust. It sounds good, right? But what the fuck was the shit made of? According to a new CDC report, the cake ordered from a local bakery was painted with a thick layer of glittery powder mixed with butter extract, which I guess the butter was supposed to make it go down smooth. It go down right on smooth. Yeah. However, the state health department found that the dust was labeled non-edible and contained excessive amounts of copper. Whoa. So when each slice of cake had nearly 900 milligrams of copper in the frosting, which is 1,000 times the recommended daily allowance, according to the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services. So 1,000 times the recommended daily allowance. That's actually part of like the food pyramid, your regular dose of copper. Wow, most of the kids who got sick recovered within 10 hours, but one went to the emergency room. Yeah, it's all about how can your body pass that stuff, or is it just too saturated in your system that you need some help from a doctor or from a hospital? Unlike edible glitter, which I never knew was a thing, and how that's some fat person shit to know that there's a such thing as edible glitter, because I was today years old. I'm now years old when I just found this out. Unlike edible glitter, luster dust meant for decoration are not only legally required to include a list of ingredients on the label, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention wrote in a morbidity and mortality weekly report Thursday. It's a weekly report for this shit. I'm learning stuff today, people. Yeah. In a separated case identified in Missouri in May 2019. And the RIDOH investigated the bakery that sold the copper-laden cake, and it found 28 other luster dusts that contain elevated levels of various metals. Visits to additional bakeries revealed widespread use of similar materials. The health department concluded the contamination was accidental and issued updated guidance for reading luster dust labels. So what do you just go to like a Hobby Lobby and pick that shit up and just start dumping it on your cake frosting? What's wrong with you? Texas man dead after attempts to cut his grass led to fire and a SWAT call. How the hell did this go wrong? Imagine you going to kiss your wife. Yeah, honey, I'll be home in time for dinner. And yeah, it's just some crazy guy. We're getting a call about some weird guy. He doesn't want us to cut his grass. What? Who doesn't want who doesn't want to keep their grass cut? If you a visit by Austin officials to a man's house to serve a warrant for lawn maintenance ended in tragedy. And I understand if you live on a property and you have adjacent properties, you have neighbors to the left, neighbors to the right, and you just want to keep the overall beauty of your block, of your street. You know what I mean, everybody got to follow suit and keep their lawn manicured. Okay, that makes sense. I get that part. The resident, who was not identified, was fatally shot by a SWAT officer Wednesday after the Austin Police Department and code enforcement officers attempted to serve the warrant for an overgrown front and backyard. So what the, okay. Follow me here. Is that SWAT served the warrant, right? Right? The Austin Police Department served the warrant because some guy didn't have his grass cut, right? In the front, in the backyard. The police came and showed up to the door. But kids living in an abandoned apartment for a year, and one of them is dead. Nobody knocks on the fucking door. I don't see the correlation. I really don't see the correlation. Officers served the warrant for nuisance abatement at about 9:16 a.m. local time Wednesday. And after attempting contact with the man, contractors began they just like fucking cut his grass. You don't want this is something that anybody else would be happy to have somebody. Well, they would probably cut his grass and bill him for it after the fact. But either way, you're gonna have your grass cut. Yeah, they'll probably bill him for it. On behalf of code enforcement, Chacon said, yeah, they would probably issue him a ticket or a citation or something where he had to pay for that. But either way, the resident subsequently shot at officers from inside the home, and a SWAT call for a barricaded subject was initiated. They probably was all laughing and kikiing all the way down there too. Officers tried talking to the resident, bring your stupid ass outside and let us cut your grass. And SWAT, can you imagine being on the bullhorn to try to negotiate with this guy? He must have had some shit going on in that house, man. Arrived with mental health officers because you gotta be, what the hell is wrong with you, man? And a crisis negotiator. This shit is like straight out of a movie, man. Yeah, straight out of a fucking movie. Samuel L. Jackson, yeah, the negotiator. And shortly thereafter, according to Chacon, despite hours of attempts to de-escalate and make contact with the resident, he started shooting. I'm tired of talking. He started shooting at officers again at around 3:19 p.m., said Chacon, noting that by this time, a local school had been placed on lockdown as a precautionary measure. Now the kids are coming home from school. Now it's a problem. Yeah, the lockdown has since been lifted. Officers then tried to enter the front of the home using a robot, which this is for a guy. This is a landscaping issue. This is even a hostage or drugs or guns or something like this is landscaping we're talking about here. Officers then tried to enter the front of the home using a robot, which reported a fire had been started. Like, I'll burn this shit down before I let you on my damn. When they still couldn't coax the suspect out, officers assumed he died as a result of the fire, as it looked to have fully engulfed the house. But shortly after 3:30, the resident exited the garage armed and was shot by a SWAT officer, which I just he just wouldn't get his grass cut. The suspect was transported to a local hospital where he was pronounced dead at 4:01 p.m., said the SWAT chief. Wow, wow. Things you didn't expect, things you didn't expect to happen. Yeah. Hashtag that went wrong. Fun show, fun show, fun show. Don't forget to turn on your post notifications so you can catch this ride with me next time. That being said, I'm going to wrap this up. I will talk to you guys very, very soon. Adios.